When I want a dinner that helps me feel steady, full, and strong the next day, I often come back to this skillet of lemon-dill salmon with creamy white beans and spinach. It's simple, delicious cooking with a Mediterranean bend to it, and it gives you a lot of good food in one pan. Quality protein, fiber, vegetables, and those healthy fats that make a meal satisfying instead of skimpy. If you're over 60 and trying to keep your muscles in the game, this is the kind of dinner worth knowing how to make. And I'll show you not only how to cook it, but why it makes sense for older adults who want practical, honest food rather than trendy nonsense. Now, I ought to say right up front, this is not some ancient recipe with one official birthplace. It's my own Mediterranean-inspired version, the kind of dish Ruth and I have pulled together after years of cooking from old Italian, Greek, and rural European ideas. You'll see Tuscan-style fish and beans, Greek-style lemon and dill, and the basic Mediterranean staples we keep around here all the time: garlic, olive oil, herbs, lemon, and a good bit of common sense. That's usually how the best home cooking happens anyway. It borrows what works. For 4 generous servings, you'll need 4 salmon fillets, about 5 ounces each. Then 2 15-ounce cans of no-salt-added cannellini beans, 5 ounces of baby spinach, 1 medium yellow onion finely chopped, 3 garlic cloves minced, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and half a cup of low-sodium broth. You'll also want 1 large lemon, 1 teaspoon dried oregano, half a teaspoon smoked paprika, a quarter teaspoon of salt, or less if you need to watch sodium, half a teaspoon black pepper, and 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped dill or parsley. For the yogurt sauce, stir together 1 cup plain Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon fresh dill, 1 teaspoon Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon lemon zest, 1 tablespoon lemon juice, and black pepper to taste. I like Greek yogurt that gives you about 15 to 20 grams of protein per cup, but brands vary a good bit, so always check the label. That sauce is one of the little tricks that makes this meal feel rich without turning it heavy. Before we cook, let me say something important for anyone over 60. Getting enough protein matters. The Protein-Age Study Group has recommended roughly 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily for many healthy older adults. That's higher than the old general adult minimum people hear about. If a person weighs about 165 pounds, that comes out to roughly 75 to 90 grams a day. You don't need to panic over exact numbers at every meal, but it does help to build your plate with protein in mind. This salmon dinner gives you a very solid start. First, drain the cannellini beans and rinse them well under cold water for about 20 seconds. That step matters. It washes away a lot of the canning liquid and improves the flavor. A lot of people skip it and then wonder why the beans taste flat or too salty. Let them sit in the colander while you get everything else ready. Now pat the salmon dry with a paper towel. That little bit of dryness helps it brown instead of steaming. Mix the smoked paprika, oregano, black pepper, and just a small pinch of salt, then rub that over the top and sides of the fillets. Let them sit for about 10 minutes while you make the yogurt sauce. In a small bowl, combine the Greek yogurt, dill, Dijon, lemon zest, lemon juice, and pepper. Stir it smooth. Taste it before adding any salt. Sometimes the mustard and lemon give it enough lift all by themselves. Keep that sauce in the refrigerator until serving, because if you put yogurt in a hot skillet, it can split and turn grainy. Nobody wants that. Heat a large 12-inch skillet over medium heat and add the olive oil. Place the salmon presentation side down or skin side down if your fillets have skin. Let them cook without moving for about 3 to 4 minutes. That first sear gives you color and flavor. Turn them carefully and cook the second side for about 2 minutes. You don't need them fully done yet. Pull them out onto a clean plate. They'll finish later, and that keeps them tender. In the same skillet, add the chopped onion. Cook it for 4 to 5 minutes, stirring now and then until it softens. Then add the minced garlic and cook it for about 30 seconds. Don't walk off and answer the phone here. Garlic can burn fast, and burnt garlic tastes bitter. After that, add the drained beans and the broth. Use the back of a wooden spoon to mash about a quarter of the beans. That's one of my favorite old kitchen tricks. It thickens the broth naturally and gives you a creamy texture without pouring in heavy cream. Simmer that for 3 to 4 minutes, then start adding the spinach one handful at a time. Stir each handful until it wilts before adding the next. This keeps the pan from overflowing and helps the greens cook evenly. Add about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and half the chopped dill. Taste it and adjust carefully with pepper, lemon, or a touch more salt if needed. What you want here is bright and savory, not bland and virtuous. Healthy food ought to taste like somebody meant to enjoy it. Now lay the salmon fillets back over the beans and spinach. Cover the skillet and reduce the heat to medium-low. Let it cook another 3 to 6 minutes, depending on the thickness of the fish. For older viewers, or anyone who is medically vulnerable, I like to recommend cooking fish to an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit or 63 degrees Celsius, measured at the thickest point. That's the safe target to remember. A serving of this meal should give you about 40 to 45 grams of protein, around 500 to 570 calories, and 7 to 10 grams of fiber, depending on the exact salmon, yogurt, and bean amounts. That's a serious dinner. It comfortably passes the commonly discussed target of about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at a main meal for older adults. And it's not just protein. You're also getting salmon's omega-3 fats, beans for fiber and staying power, leafy greens, and the creamy tang of yogurt. A dinner like that can help support muscle maintenance when it's part of an overall day of eating and regular movement. Now, I want to be very clear on something that matters. This meal cannot replace strength exercise. It gives your muscles the materials they need, but you still have to give those muscles a reason to stay. That means walking, lifting, pushing, carrying, using resistance bands, or some other kind of regular strength work. Food and exercise work together. One without the other is like putting good lumber in the shed and never building the barn. The research on omega-3 fats is encouraging, but it's important not to overclaim. In an 8-week controlled study of older adults, omega-3 supplementation improved the muscle protein building response to amino acids and insulin under lab conditions. And a separate 6-month randomized trial in healthy older adults found that concentrated fish oil supplementation increased thigh muscle volume, hand grip strength, and 1 repetition maximum strength compared with control treatment. Those studies used concentrated supplements, not just one salmon dinner, so I would never tell you this skillet produces the same results by itself. But it does fit the kind of eating pattern that supports a muscle-conscious life. The Greek yogurt helps too. It adds more complete dairy protein and makes the meal easier to eat and enjoy. There was a randomized resistance training trial where Greek yogurt was linked with greater improvements in total strength and some muscle measurements than an isocaloric placebo, but those participants were young men, not seniors. So I don't present that as direct proof for people over 60. I use yogurt here because it's a convenient, tasty protein source, and it turns the sauce into something you'll actually want to put on your food. And then there are the beans. Cannellini beans bring protein, carbohydrates, and fiber, which older adults often need more of than they realize, especially if they're active. They've also been studied as part of pulse consumption, and meta-analyses have found that beans and lentils can modestly reduce LDL cholesterol and blood pressure. That doesn't mean beans alone prevent muscle loss, of course, but they are a smart part of a healthy daily pattern. Ruth likes to say beans are the quiet workers in the meal. I think she's right. A good drizzle of extra virgin olive oil adds flavor and brings the whole pan together. In the Piri-dimed trial, A Mediterranean dietary pattern supplemented with extra virgin olive oil was associated with fewer major cardiovascular events in adults at high cardiovascular risk. That was evidence for the whole eating pattern, not proof that a spoonful of oil by itself is some magic potion. Still, I've found that a little good olive oil makes vegetables and fish taste fuller, and when food tastes good, people tend to eat it more regularly. That matters more than fancy claims. One more safety note before I leave you with the recipe. If you have chronic kidney disease, do not automatically follow general high-protein advice. Protein, potassium, phosphorus, and serving sizes may need to be adjusted according to your kidney function, your lab results, and whether you're on dialysis. That's something to discuss with your clinician or dietitian, because kidneys change the picture quite a bit. When you serve this, spoon the creamy beans and spinach into shallow bowls, set a salmon fillet on top, and add a generous spoonful of the lemon-dill yogurt sauce. Finish with a little fresh dill or parsley, a touch more lemon zest, black pepper, and maybe a small squeeze of lemon. It should look bright and smell like supper is worth sitting down for. If you'd like to start today, make just one part of it, the bean base, or cook the whole skillet and save the leftovers for tomorrow's lunch. Either way, you'll have a real meal that supports strength without feeling heavy. If you have a family fish recipe or a way you like to cook beans for supper, I'd enjoy hearing it in the comments. And if you want more practical meals for healthy aging, you can follow along with us here. Until next time, take care of your kitchen, and it will take care of you.